Hi buddy, it's Alexis and today I'm gonna review one of the toughest racket that there is on the market. Are you ready? Let's go. So today I took out of Tennis Zone, the link is down below, this Head Prestige Pro, and I gotta say I'm really excited. So I'm gonna tell you the specs and then we're gonna go onto the court and finally I'm gonna give my score. So the specs are pretty classic but pretty hard too, so a really control oriented racket, that's for sure. So we have a 98 square inch head size with a 18 by 20 string pattern. The on-strung weight is 320 grams, and as you can see, it's a pretty thin, consistent beam. So yeah, can't wait to try it. This racket is strung with head hock at 50 pounds. Let's go on the court. If you're looking to buy some tennis products online, then I have a great news for you. You can use the code ALEXTENNIS to have 10% off your next purchase on Tennis Zone. Thanks to them for making this video possible, and let's go back. On the court with the Head Prestige Pro, the first thing that I felt was just the classic feel of this racket. You feel like it's quite maneuverable for 320 gram static weight. You feel the ball entering the string bed. Obviously it's not a spin monster due to the 18 by 20, but at the same time you're trading spin for feel, so you have a lot of feel. So sometimes it's possible for you to create that top spin due to the feel that you have with that racket. Even though it's a thin beam, it's a pretty stable racket in general. I would have to say that even though it's a 98 square inch head size, the sweet spot is kind of small, so you gotta be sure that you're hitting into the sweet spot. I would say that the biggest drawback from this racket is not the fact that it's unplayable. At least for me it's not unplayable, but when I start to play some point with this racket, that's where I started to fall into the trap of just hitting slower ball into the net or stuff like that. So this racket is great for rallying just towards the middle. It's really fun, but when you start to have a competitive aspect into the game, then it's a bit tougher to use this racket. So that's why I would recommend this racket to the player that wants to come to the net, and experimented player that knows how to position themselves to play with this racket. I wouldn't recommend this racket for a player that haven't played with a Prestige before, because it's such a tough racket and a tough feeling to get used to it, that's for sure. But it's definitely one of the coolest racket that I've tried on the channel. So when I went to review this Prestige Pro, I was a bit nervous because I've tried tough racket, but this has to be the toughest racket that I've ever tried. And I was wondering if I would be good enough for you guys to review this racket and gives you my feeling of this racket. But I think I've managed to do it quite well, and so let's begin with the rating. And I'm gonna change the rating format for 2025. So what I'll do, instead of just being like one big rating, I'll give a small rating that combined together is gonna do an overall rating. So let's start with control. Obviously that's where this racket shines. It has a lot of control. Every shot that you're doing, you feel like this racket is just putting the ball in. So the issue is not putting the ball into the court, but it's more like what's the speed of the ball or how heavy is the ball. But in terms of control, it's super easy. It's actually not an issue, obviously, with that type of racket, that's for sure. In terms of power, there's no power. Actually, there is some, but it's just due to the heavy static weights that helps you to just transfer the mass. And I would say that I'm pretty happy that this racket is 320 grams unstrung, because if it would have been lower, it would have been impossible to play with. So I would say that the higher weights helps this racket to generate just a bit more compared to, let's say, if it was a 300 grams racket, that's for sure. In terms of feeling, that's insane, that's the best feeling racket that I've had. When you're hitting into the sweet spot, you just feel, because of the 18 by 20, the 98 square inch head size, the small beam, you just feel the ball entering the string bed, and it's just, yeah, incredible and really stable when you're hitting with it. And finally, the spin I would say for 18 by 20, you know, it's not that bad. Obviously, it's not a spin monster, so I will have to go with 4 out of 10. But it's, no, I thought it would be worse than that. So there you have it. You have the combined rating for the Head Prestige Pro. Hope you have liked it. Don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe. And thanks to Tennis Zone for letting me borrow this racket to review for you guys. See you next time. Bye bye.